I think asking for forgiveness is something that's an anomaly in the world of politics. You don't see it very often that your politicians are forgiving for something that they do. Whenever a politician becomes under fire or under trouble for saying something in the past, or like for example, JD Vance's um, comment, joke, whatever you want to call it, about the childless cat ladies. Many people attacked him, asking him to apologize, and he did not once, apologize for it. If anything, he doubled down or, you know, dodged the questions, changed up the way he approached it, explained why he said what he did, and why it is not as offensive as some people think it is. And I think, for better or for worse, that model of apology, just an absence of it, is something that is almost rewarded in politics. And I think in 2016, Donald Trump exemplified that the most, um, with his Access Hollywood, leak, or all these different things he was called out for, quote unquote being racist, you know, publishing that ad in the New York Times, or not the New York Times, the newspaper. He never once apologized for anything. He always doubled down. Either he would not say anything about it, change his rhetoric, or double down. More often than not, he would double down. And for better or for worse, it won him that election in 2016, and it may win him this election in 2024. So my question is like, what is the true idea of an apology? I think, in sharp contrast to Donald Trump, you have someone like Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. There are many instances where if his policy proposal fails or his parliament isn't satisfactory, he will come out and say sorry. He will apologize in front of parliament. Yet, right now, his approval rating is less than 33%, if I believe. So, we're almost rewarded as politicians to, double down, not apologize, not, move on, continue to hold the grudges, continue to not, take ownership or blame for anything. And that's broadening the scale in terms of what apology means. I always think about how the art of sorry is a very intriguing and complex one, where I feel like those who are at either side of the apology have a hard time understanding, what is the right choice moving forward. And more often than not, I've found that it is very common for a lot of people, and this does not apply to all people, but to say sorry only when you absolutely have to. I think of it as like a cops and robbers kind of analogy, where the robber is not just going to drop the money after stealing it. They're going to see how far they can go before getting caught by the police. So, and I've been guilty of it as well, of like, if I feel guilt or shame for something, especially in my younger days, I would always wait and see and play things out to see if an apology was required out of me. If not, then I wouldn't. And I always wondered why that was a thing, you know. And the reason why I think that is that, apologies are something that make, especially a man, feel humility and, drops your ego and it makes you humble. But if anything, I think that's a good thing. I think we should discern between those who take responsibility, those who take ownership of their mistakes. Those people should be rewarded with the quote unquote moniker of manliness than the idea of holding your ground and staying autonomous of your beliefs, you know what I mean? And that kind of led me to also think that, it's also just very, very fun just to talk shit, for better or for worse, right? I don't think you guys can think of, you know, have you ever had a conversation that spans more than 20 minutes of just talking about someone in just a positive light? Like, this guy's a great guy, this guy's great. Those conversations don't last. But if it's someone you absolutely despise, you can go on and on and on, and it's fun because it makes you feel better and more confident in yourself. And you see that a lot in politics. It's a lot of attacking. Both Kamala Harris and Donald Trump, all it is attacks. Their whole campaign is how bad the other candidate is doing, because it makes you feel good about yourself. And I'm not sure if that is something that is necessarily good. And, can I blame either candidate? I don't think I can, because we're all guilty of it as well. And, doubling down and not apologizing seems to be working, in contemporary politics. So, but I'd also like to note that I don't think that all apologies are not sincere. I think people do and can genuinely be sorry, and that's okay, and that's right. People can be sorry, but, especially the idea of what makes an apology, right? Everybody knows the word sorry is ultimately meaningless without action. And I find it just amusing how, admitting, wrongdoing, which used to be considered as something of nobility and strength and pride. Not so much pride, but strength, nobility, humility, all these great connotations. Now it's being used, now it's completely being avoided at all costs. And the apologies that I do see, maybe in politics or generally, seems, more of okay, I said it, let's just move on. But like I said, people can be genuinely sorry. And my challenge is, how do I identify whether or not, the act of saying sorry constitutes genuine sorrow? That for me is very hard, because I myself am not a perfect person. I've made so many mistakes, more than I would like to talk about. But so it doesn't make me feel comfortable to be in the position to be the judge of someone else. And I don't like to bring religion into this, but I feel like those folks who are adamant with their religion understand that message, that it's not up to us to judge. It's up to, the Almighty, whatever you may call that. And yeah, long story short, saying sorry in politics doesn't get you that far, I guess. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy your day, and I will see you tomorrow.